This week at NASA, from exploration of space and the universe to understanding Earth's environment, from cutting-edge research to community involvement, from education to inspiration, NASA owes its mission success to thousands of dedicated men and women at the agency's headquarters and 10 centers nationwide: Ames, Dryden, Glenn, Goddard, the Jet Propulsion Lab, Johnson, Kennedy, Langley, Marshall, and Stennis. In 2008, their ongoing achievements were underscored by numerous events marking NASA's 50th anniversary. We now look back at the top stories of this year at NASA. In January, Antarctic ice loss continues. An astronaut marks 50 at Daytona, and a longtime research pilot retires. A team of scientists from the Jet Propulsion Laboratory and the University of California at Irvine have found that ice loss in Antarctica increased by 75% over the past 10 years. A speed up in the flow of its glaciers is to blame, mostly due to warmer ocean waters. Antarctic ice loss is now almost equal to that seen in Greenland. NASA astronaut Andrew Feustel took a few hot laps at Daytona International Speedway in NASCAR's preseason Thunder Fan Fest. Feustel's appearance was in celebration of NASA's 50th anniversary and the 50th running of the Daytona 500 in 2008. Feustel, who took his laps in an official Daytona track car, will be part of the Hubble servicing mission crew. Former astronaut and longtime research pilot C. Gordon Fullerton has retired after 38 years with NASA. Fullerton, who began his flying career with the Air Force in 1958, made his final flight in a NASA FA-18 at the Dryden Flight Research Center. Fullerton and fellow research pilot Jim Smolka flew a formation aerobatics flight with two other jets before concluding his career with two low-level formation flyovers. Fullerton served on the support crews of 4 Apollo lunar missions, helped test the Space Shuttle prototype, and was part of the crew of 2 shuttle missions, STS-3 in 1982 and STS-51F in 1985. Since leaving the astronaut corps in 1986, Fullerton has been with Dryden's flight crew branch, where he served as project pilot on many high-profile research programs. Fullerton, 71, was honored with a water cannon spray by the Edwards Air Force Base Fire Department as he taxied the FA-18 up to the Dryden ramp. During his long career, Fullerton logged more than 16,000 flight hours. In February, STS-122 safely touches down as Endeavour revs up. NASA partners to support stroke research. Wind tunnel research speeds competitive swimming. And the Beatles sing across the universe. As the STS-122 mission came to a successful end with the landing of Shuttle Atlantis,
main gear touchdown,
Space Shuttle Endeavour is in place on Launch Pad 39A, being readied for mission STS-123. Endeavour will carry the pressured segment of the Kibo Japanese Experiment Logistics Module, plus Space Lab Pallet 1, which will be deployed by Dexter, Canada's special-purpose dexterous manipulator. STS-123 is commanded by Dom Gorey. The National Space Science and Technology Center at Marshall has teamed up with the University of Alabama Birmingham on a special health study. The study, funded by the National Institute of Health, is called REGARDS: Reasons for Geographic and Racial Differences in Stroke. More than 30,000 people are being surveyed with the primary focus on African Americans because of their higher risk of cardiovascular disease, hypertension, and stroke. Using NASA remote sensing satellite data, UAB hopes to learn more about the impact of air quality, heat indexes, temperature, humidity, and other environmental elements on the diseases and conditions targeted in the study. At the Langley Research Center, Aerospace engineer Steve Wilkinson did some wind tunnel testing of a very different nature. At the request of swimsuit manufacturer Speedo, Wilkinson has run a selection of more than 60 fabrics through a small wind tunnel to test for drag, or hydrodynamic resistance. The idea, of course, was to identify which materials have lower drag to increase competitive swimmers' times.
About 30 to 35% of the drag, the restraining force on a swimmer as he moves through the water, is due to what we call viscous drag. And that's what we're simulating in this tunnel.
For decades, Langley drag reduction research has been used for spacecraft, aircraft, and even America's Cup boats. And now swimsuits will benefit from this technology. Langley will test 60 more fabrics for Speedo over the next 2 years. Story update. Swimmers wearing a new racing suit developed with NASA's help are breaking world records at a blistering pace. The Speedo Laser Racing Suit was unveiled in February, and since then, 40 of the 44 new world records were set by athletes wearing it.
Images of broken light which dance before me like a million eyes. They call me on and on across the universe.
The Deep Space Network control room at the Jet Propulsion Laboratory was the scene of an historic musical event. The Beatles song, Across the Universe, was beamed by the DSN towards the North Star, Polaris, in commemoration of the 40th anniversary of its writing. The transmission by the DSN satellites at Goldstone, California, Madrid, Spain, and Canberra, Australia also celebrated NASA's 50th anniversary, the launch of Explorer 1 50 years ago, and the 45th anniversary of the Deep Space Network. Across the universe, moving at 186,000 miles per second, will take 431 years to reach Polaris.
Ringing through my open ears, inciting and inviting me.
In March, mission STS-123 delivers Dexter and installs Kibo. The Ares 1X goes on display, and a design review for a James Webb Telescope component is completed.
Main gear touchdown.
The STS-123 crew returned safely to Earth after completing a 16-day journey of nearly 6.5 million miles in space aboard Space Shuttle Endeavour. The crew, commanded by Dom Gori, landed safely at the Kennedy Space Center on March 26. The mission highlights include the delivery of the Japanese Kibo module and the installation of Canada's Dexter robot.
I can't imagine the mission could have gone any better, and they made it look easy.
STS-123 was the longest shuttle mission to the ISS and included a record 5 spacewalks. Joining Gori on the mission were pilot Greg Johnson and mission specialists Bob Behnken, Mike Foreman, Rick Linehan, Garrett Reisman, and Japan Aerospace Exploration Agency astronaut Takao Doi. Reisman remained aboard the space station, replacing Expedition 16 flight engineer Leopold Eharts, who returned with the Endeavour crew. A full-scale element of NASA's Ares 1X rocket was on display at the Glenn Research Center. The simulated element represents the size, outer shape, and mass of the second stage of the Ares 1 rocket. Members of the media were invited to climb inside the 18-foot wide, 45-foot tall simulation of the Ares 1 upper stage, which was designed and manufactured at Glenn. They also received a tour of Glenn's fabrication shop, where this launch vehicle demonstrator was created. A test launch and flight of the Ares 1X is scheduled for April 2009. It'll be a critical milestone in the development of NASA's Constellation program to send astronauts back to the Moon.